I know that sucks, but I like doing it. Hey YouTube, this is shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another wrestling review. I'm of course joined by my fellow cohort and wrestling aficionado, Joe. Say hi, Joe. He wants a flatbread sandwich. But before that, it's Tuesday night. You know what that means. Time for some SmackDown. Wait a second. Tuesday. Yeah, yes, you heard correctly. It's Tuesday night. It's a special live edition of SmackDown. And we have a lot to get through. There's a lot of backlash from last night's Raw. And what's going to happen tonight? I got my notes. Let's get started. The show opens with Cena coming out, of course playing to the crowd as only John Cena can. He calls out Alberto Del Rio, and his ring announcer Ricardo Rodriguez comes out. Now, for those in the know, Alberto is having some problems with his visas, so that's the reason why he's not been able to show up either last night or tonight. As Ricardo says that Cena will have to wait until Night of Champions before he will be humiliated by the essence of excellence, El Patron, Alberto Del Rio. Cena has had enough of this and decides to punch him out. The face of your company, punching out people who have nothing to do with just punching out for no reason. Then we move on to the first match, Cena versus Wade Barrett. Barrett comes out, cuts a decent promo, and Cena decides that he is not punished, he hasn't gotten even with Wade Barrett for the crap that happened last year. You buried him in chairs. How is that not enough for you, Cena? But anyway, this match was terrible. It was just standard Cena going back to the standard 5 moves of doom. Really, as far as Wade Barrett's stock has dropped, this was not even a match. This was a squash match. Wade Barrett had no chance against Cena. Ugh. And next matchup, Sin Cara versus Daniel Bryan. This was a nice palate cleanser from that crap that we had to open with. Sin Cara and Sin Cara Dos, the man who is now under the mask of Sin Cara, I can't pronounce his name, but he and Daniel Bryan have a very excellent match. Daniel Bryan actually does some pretty interesting submission moves, and Michael Cole is still being a dumbass, saying that he only knows 2 submissions. Yeah, more than that and Cole lock that couldn't even make JR tap out Cole. Anyway, the match ends with Sin Cara Dos winning over Daniel Bryan. I'm not sure where they're going with having Bryan lose this much, but I hope they start making him win, because he really needs to win. They go for a handshake, but then Sin Cara Dos turns heel. Oh my god. It's Mal Sin Cara. Mal is Spanish for evil. Next up, the Born Kings do a backstage interview talking about how being great tag team champions that it is. Pretty standard stuff. Next up, the Divas of Doom, aka Natalya and Beth Phoenix, take on the team of Kelly and Alicia, I'm Gonna Cripple Someone, Fox. They purely got dominated in this match. The Divas of Doom were too much for them, and it ended with them being beat with the bubbly Kelly and Alicia Fox getting completely and utterly decimated. Next up, it's time for the contract signing between Triple H and CM Punk. As we all know, these contract signings never end well. Now, I have to say, both Punk and Triple H cut very, very good promos and made both excellent points. Punk wanting to be the instrument and the catalyst of change in the WWE, and Triple H trying to call him out on some bullshit. they went back and forth, and it was a very nice touch. And you all should actually see a little bit of the cerebral assassin come out. That's what Punk wants. He doesn't want the COO at Night of Champions. He wants the cerebral assassin. So anyway, they sign the contracts. Then Kevin Nash crouches his way to the ring. Punk wants a piece of Nash, but Trips won't let him. They start to get into a fight, but then Triple H pushes Punk off Nash. Nash hits a big boot on Punk. Triple H pushes Nash, who pushes back and pushes him down. The situation has gotten completely out of control. Next up, Sheamus versus the Great Khali. This was not very good. Not to Sheamus's credit, it's just that you can hardly. There's very, very few people that can get a good match out of the Great Khali. Oh, and Jinder Mahal is there. Who gives a flying fuck? The match ends in a foobar as Jinder Mahal decides to institute his ass into the ring. They try to beat up on Sheamus, but the Great White is too much for a guy who can barely wrestle, and another guy who is as bland and ineffectual as Mike Bennett is in ROH. Same as to say, our hurt Sheamus could beat both these guys down. Move on to the main event. Christian versus Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight title inside a steel cage. Now, I asked a very interesting question on the CBR forums. That as great as all summer long, in all the previous last 6 encounters between these two have not put on a bad match. I mean, their last match at SummerSlam was, in the words of my friend Jesse, the best match of the night. So, can they top themselves with the steel cage match? Could they? That was the main question. But yeah, this was an awesome match. It was the best match of the night. Match of the year candidate, easy. It was very back and forth. As Booker said, this was the most balanced rivalry we've had in the WWE ever. These two was just know each other so well, and their skill sets are so similar and so complete that you really can't say who would win. It's just a factor of inches, really. We had some great spots in this match. At one point, Christian actually does a slight pump. Like, Christian has this move where he kicks a guy, then leaps off, then bounces off the ring of the turnbuckle, goes into a sunset flip or a DDT. Randy Orton caught him on that a few times and into a RKO. Christian did it again here, and Randy was going for an RKO, but Christian pump faked and actually climbed the top of the cage. That was awesome. That was just that little move, that little pump fake was great. It was a counter to Randy's counter. And this just shows that these two still can ratchet it up another notch. This was an excellent match with two of them, these two guys pulling everything out of their arsenal. And what ends it, do you ask? An RKO off the top rope. DDP couldn't have done it better. 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton retains. But there's no time to celebrate, as the most dangerous man in the WWE, Mark Henry, gorillas his way down to the ring. Randy tries to put up a fight, but even if he were fresh, I still wouldn't give him odds against this Mark Henry. This is Mark Henry being pushed at the absolute strongest. I've been following his career since he joined the WWE over 15 years ago in the Attitude Era as Sexual Chocolate. And this is the strongest he has ever been portrayed. And it shows as he completely and utterly dominates Randy Orton. Orton tries some offense, but this is the guy that put out the two biggest guys in the entire locker room. What chance does Randy have? And I'm serious. At this time, I seriously think that they might actually let Mark Henry get the World Heavyweight title, and I don't blame them. He's been on a tear. Mark Henry has been an unstoppable force, and I don't see any foreseeable way for Randy Orton to retain that belt of his, other than by a DQ or something like that. Because if Sheamus can barely stop this guy, What chance does Randy have? So, that was Super SmackDown. My thoughts? I'm gonna give this an average. There was a lot of laggy points at this match. The first match between Cena and Barrett was terrible. I'm not sure how I feel about this whole Sin Cara going heel thing, but I hope this will lead to a Sin Cara good versus Sin Cara evil. Let's see. There was a lot. It felt like it was a promo heavy show. The only good parts that I can recommend is the contract signing between Punk and Triple H and the main event. Those were well enough worth watching. So that was Super SmackDown. Tune in this Thursday when I attempt to review Impact. What will be the repercussions of what Joe did to Crimson last week, and will it take him out of the running? Who knows? But until then, this is shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, and Joe, saying goodnight and wrestle on.